Oh boy. Us JRPG fans just got blindsided by several pieces of awful news. From a highly anticipated JRPG being cancelled to a lackluster remaster and a delay for one of the most hyped games of the year. My name is Shingy, and if you're like me, you love and adore JRPGs. So every time we get hit by bad news like this, it hits hard. Let's unpack what exactly happened and what it all means. Starting off, perhaps the biggest thing that happened today was Alzara Radiant Echoes getting cancelled as Studio Camellia shut its doors and closed down the studio. I was personally very excited for this, and I backed it without question because I liked what I was seeing. The game looked gorgeous, it had a promising art style, and it had Motoi Sakuraba composing for it, commonly known for the Tales or Star Ocean series. This game had a whole lot of promise going for it, but it was a bit odd that we had gone several months without an update. Then all of a sudden, today, June 17th, we were dropped with the news that the whole studio had shut down and this game wouldn't exist. The whole thing that gets me about this is while the game was funded via Kickstarter, it had hit almost 3 times its goal. In order for the Kickstarter to be deemed successful, they had asked for 100,000 euros. However, once the Kickstarter concluded, it had hit a grand total of 294,428 euros. So where exactly did all this money go? I know game development can be pricey, and while I'm not fully aware of all the costs that go into the development process, I can't believe that 300,000 euros, or almost 350,000 US dollars, was all used to fund a short demo. Due to the nature of Kickstarter, this money isn't going to be refunded to us backers, unfortunately, which I get, but I'm only out $50 or so myself, so it's not the end of the world. But what about the people that went for the higher tiers? People that spent, $200, $300, $500. But regardless of the amount of money that people backed it with, where we really lose is trust. I don't like using this word, but to me, this sounds like a scam that was intended from the start. Between the dead silence, the lack of updates, and the fact that Studio Camellia has shut off comments on every single piece of social media, it makes it seem like they knew what they were doing from day one. This makes me very anxious and uncertain when it comes to backing games on Kickstarter. Why would I back something if it's just going to be cancelled and I'm going to be out the money I put into it? I'm not saying every Kickstarter is like this, but from here on out, I'm going to always have that feeling in the back of my mind that this could just be cancelled and the dev team is just going to run off with my money with no product provided. Currently, I have 3 games that I helped crowdfund: Armed Fantasia, Penny Blood, and Godshard Chronicles. Well, I am looking forward to all of these games, especially Armed Fantasia. I love me some Wild Arms. I have this feeling in the back of my mind that these games are all going to be cancelled as well, especially with the recent talks about difficulty finding a publisher, but that's a whole other topic. I hope I'm wrong, and I'm trying to stay positive, but with this recent news, it's getting more and more difficult. Next, we have news in regards to Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles, the newest Square Enix remaster, officially announced on June 4th, 2025 at the PlayStation State of Play. When I heard about this remaster, I was nothing short of excited. I love Final Fantasy Tactics. It's up there as one of the best strategy RPGs I've ever played. When I heard about the remaster, it was like a dream come true. New story content, new voice acting. Finally, we have a definitive edition. However, today, Square Enix announced that this new remaster is not going to be a remaster of the PSP enhanced port, but a remaster of the original game. This means no Balthier, no Luso, no Onion Knight job, and no Dark Knight job. I was really hoping this was going to include all the content, because while I do have the original PSP version, I can play that just fine, I was really hoping for something that I could play on modern hardware that would get over that ridiculous PSP buffering issue, where the game would slow down to a snail's pace every time you would cast a spell or use an ability. Through an interview with the director, Kazutoyo Mihiro, he was asked why he decided to focus on updating the original release as opposed to the War of the Lions version, and he responded with, "We did of course consider the addition of new jobs, abilities, and characters, including the jobs featured in the War of the Lions. However, the original version of Final Fantasy Tactics is a very complete game, both from a game design and a story perspective. If we were to make major changes, it would only be a loss for not only fans of the original game, but also those new to the title. With this in mind, our first step in reviving Final Fantasy Tactics in the present was to adhere to the original and put a spotlight on the original game's characters and jobs, as well as the original gameplay experience. The development team were passionate when it came to bringing an experience as close as the original as we could, and as a result, we have recreated and used the original visual effects and sound effects, something I hope fans of the original in particular will enjoy as they play. I can respect that you want to honor the original developer's creation, kind of like what happened with the Pixel remasters, but this is a bit disappointing as I wanted to play the game in the best way possible. I've already seen how disappointed the community is with this choice. This will by no means change my mind on picking it up, but this could have been so much better by including all the additional content from War of the Lions on PlayStation Portable. And finally, NIS America announced a delay for the latest entry in the Trails series, Beyond the Horizon, which was originally slated for a fall 2025 release. It has been delayed until January 2026. Trails fans, myself included, have been waiting for this game since its initial release in Japan in September of 2024. Sure, a few more months isn't going to be the end of the world, but I wanted to experience more of Van's journey as he's easily one of my favorite Trails protagonists. I say all this despite still trying to find time to sit down and play Trails of Daybreak 2. I'll get to it soon, I swear. Looking at this news in retrospect though, honestly, it's not necessarily bad news. We have the remake of the first Trails game, Sky the First, out at the end of September, and I feel like it would be a marketing mess to release two huge Falcom games back to back. At least by doing this, it will give Sky the First a bit of time to breathe, a bit of time for people to play through it and have it settle. I cannot wait for this game. It's looking to be fantastic with everything I've seen for it. From what I can understand, the reason for this delay is because of a last-minute announcement that the localization is coming to Switch 2 as well, so time is needed to iron all the kinks out from it. While we're on the topic about the Switch 2 version, the Switch 2 Collector's Edition is up for pre-order at NIS America's online store. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Unfortunately though, it is a keycard release, so while you do get a physical copy of it, nothing's actually on the card. So keep that in mind if you're considering it. I'm not a fan of keycards in general, but that's a topic for another day. With that being said, if that's a video you want to see, be sure to let me know because I have tons of opinions on that matter. Anyways, hopefully this is the last delay we see because I know that there is a reveal event to the sequel of Beyond the Horizon in Japan as of December, so it's going to be more and more difficult to avoid spoilers. And even beyond that, I'm impatient and I want more Trails in my life. On the plus side though, Kondo did state in a previous interview that he's noticed the traction that the Trails series has gained internationally and wants to aim for worldwide releases as shown with Sky the First's remake. This is something I didn't think would ever happen as we used to be years and years behind, but Trails has become one of the more popular JRPG franchises these days. Now, if they could only do that for the East series, where's my East 10 Proud Nordics localization announcement, Kondo? I'm waiting. Each of these stories would have hit pretty hard on their own, but together, it really makes you wonder what's going on in the JRPG space. Are we entering a rough patch for JRPG development? Are the developers even listening to the community? Or is this just a very big coincidence? Which one of these news articles hits you the hardest? Let me know in the comments below and what you think about them. For me, it would have to be the cancellation of Alzara Radiant Echoes. I was really looking forward to that game. While you're here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more weekly JRPG content, and ding the bell so you don't miss my next exciting video. Until then, stay strong JRPG fans, we'll be sure to get through this. This has been Chinky, thanks so much for watching, and until the next one, have a wonderful day.